Hello, dear friends. I'm Mr. Dev. Today, on request of many of my friends, I have brought a different aspect of learning. Despite of teaching something related to soft skills and life skills, which I generally use to make videos, today I am having something on request of my friends called essay writing, an effective way to write an impressive essay. So it is an inevitable and crucial question that stands to arise in front of every examining, students preparing for competitive, aspirants for scholarships, etc. First of all, try to understand what is the subject or topic of the essay, and throughout your topic or throughout your essay, at any point whatsoever, you should not deviate your attention from the topic. For example, you are writing an essay about the cultural tie in between two different countries, and somewhere you deviate your writing towards the periodic droughts, seasonal flooding, deforestation, desertification, overgrazing, soil erosion, weak environmental protection laws, etc. Do you feel that anybody will get interest in reading such? Or to be more specific, do you feel that anyone would recommend it to someone for reading? Obviously not, my dear friends. So staying on to the topic is the foremost important thing that you need to keep it in your mind. Now, let us learn something on the structure of preparing an essay, of framing out an essay. As we all know that there are three important parts, that is the introduction part, the body part, and the conclusion part, while structuring out an essay. So, just after knowing about the subject of the essay writing, create a mind draft of the concerned aspect in question. Start organizing your essay like what would you keep it in the introduction part? What would you keep it in the body part? Whether would you take the on-beat of the topic or off-beat, similarities or dissimilarities, merit side or demerit side, pros or cons, and how would you reach to the conclusion of the topic? So now, when you are creating a mental framework of what you are going to present before the reader, writing an essay becomes more easier. Make sure that your target readers would understand your representation. There is no generalized formula or success recipe to prepare an essay, my dear friends. You are expected to write the correct things at the correct place. Like the things you are going to present in the introduction should not go to the body, and the same goes for the body and conclusion as well. So there are some basic points which you would keep it in your mind regarding the essay framework. In a way, it would look well organized, well framed, well thought, and well structured. Your essay should make the readers understand about the clarity of your thoughts, your reasoning ability, your insightfulness, the art of beautifying and beautifully representing your content. So, coming to the three parts of an essay, the first and the foremost part is the introduction, which plays a vital role. As the way your intro is impressive or not, attention grabbing or not, makes the reader feel whether to go for further reading onto the topic or not. It should convince the reader regarding the worthiness of your content, which in turn persuades him to read in full to the topic. Let us understand the intro of an essay as a seed, and if the quality of the seed, the amount of water you pour to it, fertilizers that you impute onto it, decides for the healthy growth of the plant. There are four ways to start an essay, making it an impressive one. Like, you can make the starting with a proverb, a small popular saying, or some quotes by famous writers. Make it your. Many people used to give quotes, but they don't used to give the name of the writers. You should mention the quote given by which writer. It's very important in a quote. It just stands as an icebreaker and creates interest among the readers to go through the further content what you have written. Or you may start with an anecdote, a short account of any popular incident or event, especially of an interesting or amusing. It is not essential that an anecdote should always be a real fact. Rather, it can be something virtual made by you to give serious effect to your writings. As an example, we were all bound and lost everything to the war against slavery. We had no money, no food, no liberty, but only thing that kept us alive was our souls. The next important way of opening an essay is by way of surprising facts like, do you know? As an example, do you know that 70% of the earth is filled with water, but there is not much to drink? This sort of facts creates an interest among the readers to get into the insight of the topic. Although this is a known fact, sometimes it may be a point of unknown factor for someone and can understand. Is it true that the earth is filled with 70% of the water, but still we don't have much to drink? Let us see what the writer has written next. So certain times a surprising fact also creates an interest among the reader to go in details. Once you get an interesting starting with an impressive and worthy lines which makes the reader getting attracted on your side, it becomes more easier to convince them about your content, creating half of the impression. Moving on now towards the body part of the essay writing, which is otherwise called as the central theme of an essay. The major facts, evidences, reports, etc. We can again divide the body into three subdivisions like 1, 2 and 3, wherein the first two parts are either to represent one side of the topic or the other side, maybe the on side or the off side, merits or demerits, probable similar or dissimilarities concerning the aspect of the discussion. However, while initiating any article or representation or aspect, it is rather good to start with a positive side of it. Further, it would give an impression or scope of moving further onto the aspect, whereas interacting with or interpreting with a negative would not give the same effect. Because once you start with a negative, it gives an impression that moving further on to the insight, you could get more problems, pain, and adversities relating to the topic. So, like this, your body part generally starts supporting the topic with some positive note. Moving further to points on the other side, maybe not supporting or differing from the topic to be represented towards the second part. And finally, coming to the third part, or called as the end part of the body of an essay, gives some generalized overview of both the points which has been mentioned earlier. It would give a balanced approach to your content, what you have already discussed and what you are going to give a conclusion to. So in the first 2 points, wherein the positive side of the discussion includes the major reports, datas, evidences, facts and proofs supporting to your content. At the same time, the second point of your content include or should include the major differences or disadvantages or shortcomings, or what are the pitfalls or lackings you wanted to highlight in your discussion. Remember, my dear friends, it is a point to be noted that in both of the above discussions, like point 1 and point 2, never try to hit a stone too hard, either in positive side of the aspect or in negative side of the aspect. Rather, always try to represent your presentation in a diplomatic way with a balanced approach. Don't be too much towards the positive side or don't be too much towards the negative side, as it would lead your presentation single-sided and one-sided. Remember, nobody wants to know about your personal views leading towards a single-sided direction. Now, it's certainly essential that you should critically analyze the third and the most important part of the body, which is called as the crunch of the essay. Yes, crunch of the essay. It is after understanding the both sides of the topic. Now try to give a balanced, miscellaneous approach, being very generalized to the entire picture paint you have discussed so far. After getting the basic idea of writing an essay, now we should know the order of presenting your points. So start your essay gradually with a easier approach, then moving towards with a little higher approach to the toughest or the stronger one, as it would give a general growth of interest in understanding and moving further to your writings to the topic. Never try to do the opposite what we have already discussed. Never try to start from the toughest side or the stronger approach, moving towards the easier one, as it would gradually lose interest of the reader to continue further moving on to your topic. Dear friends, the crunch of the essay gives a crystal clear idea that why you are support or why your views went discussing the other side of the topic. And to be more specific, why were you interested to write this topic and your main motto behind your representation. And now after clearing out your motto, in the crunch, it's time to give a fruitful conclusion. So, what's conclusion? Conclusion is basically a positive note of organized viewpoints arranged in a systematic way to provide a happy ending to the topic. Because a happy ending with positive note of points indicates for further scope of discussion onto the aspect. Now coming to the impressive ending lines for an essay, you may end up presenting the lines like, although we got many positive and negative side of the aspect, it's forever good to visualize the brighter side. Further, if we move systematically taking a view of larger concern, there are possible chances of getting rid of the flaws or the pitfalls or the lackings. And anything that is good for a larger public will always give good results despite of whatsoever flaws we do have. So this is how you can end up your conclusion and trigger out a spark of hope to your readers, concluding the topic in an effective and impressive way. My dear friends, I have already said you each and every tits and bits touching the corners and the important aspects of an essay writing. It's an art. It needs a practice. Every time you go writing an essay, you should concentrate on the points which I have discussed. Take an attempt and continue your attempt as long as you get the free handwriting of all the points been discussed today and touch each and every aspect of it. You could be a good essay writer and can grab the attention of the audience, can grab the attention of the readers, making them to feel that your essay writing is really worthful. So it's time to say thank you to all. Everyone might have understood the things which I have said. For more further videos like this, I'd surely come to you with many points onto your request. So thank you for now. Goodbye.